Gosh, comics. You know, I had always been a kid that drew. You know, I think every child has that love of drawing, that magic of the pencil upon the paper, where suddenly this picture just kind of flows out of the end of your pencil. And the difference for me, though, was that when I was about 6 years old, I was involved in a really horrible accident. And you know, I was hit by a great big utility truck, and I mean, I was wound all around the axle and hung upside down, and it was just monstrous. And I guess the result of that is that I spent quite a bit of time at home recovering, and so I had nothing to do all day except sit and draw. So you know, I'd watch TV and I would draw what I saw on TV. We'd get out the comics section of the newspaper and I'd practice, you know, okay, here's how you draw this one, then move on to the next one. And then of course comics were a popular art in school because you know, I was the guy that would draw the picture of the teacher that really looked like the teacher. And the teacher was picking her nose and eating it and things like that. So, you know, it was a way to be popular with other kids. So, and then that lent itself to doing posters and other kinds of things. Once you were known as the guy that could draw comics, then it's like, well, can you draw this, can you draw that? And it sort of blossomed outward from there. The comic was called OGG'S WORLD, and I did it for, gosh, I'm trying to think, about 7 years. And it was a self-syndicated comic, which meant that there was no, I mean, it was essentially a one-person operation. So I did all the sales, I did obviously the writing and the drawing, and then handled all the accounting aspects of it as well. You know, I'm a big believer in either doing something because you're going to make a lot of money or you're having a lot of fun. And I thought that would be where the two things would converge. And unfortunately, what was happening is that I was syndicating my strip to what are called the alternative news weeklies, so like Cascadia Weekly. And the business model for those papers is, you know, they don't charge anything. It's all based on advertising. So when the economic downturn hit in about 2008, I noticed at first with like East Coast papers and stuff that they were scaling back, or they were not paying, or people were not buying stuff. It's hard to make a living doing it now. You know, people that relied on print publications, whether it was newspapers or magazines, all of those things are in decline. You have a lot more freedom in some ways now as far as doing what you want to do. People say, well, you know, you can put your stuff on the web. Well, that's great, but nobody pays anything for it, and that is the you know, the issue. But once you remove money from the equation, then what you'll do is you'll attract people that do it for the love of it. So there might be, you know, an era of artistic blossoming. So that would be the plus of that.